So if you work in the trades and you are on your feet all day like I am, then you know that your boots are just as important as the tools that you use. And this is why I want to talk to you about Brunt work boots. The very first thing that I noticed when I got my first pair of Brunt work boots was the fact that they were comfortable the second I slipped them on my feet. They're designed to feel great out of the box with cushion support, breathable construction, and their cushioned footbed that makes long days much easier on your feet.
They're also durable. Depending on the model, you get waterproof construction, barnyard-resistant leather, and outsoles that slip, oil, and heat-resistant up to 572 degrees. They're EH-rated too, so you're protected in tough environments.
And for the quality you're getting, they are an honestly priced option. Real value without the markup.
Brunt even lets you try them on the job. Wear them to work, put them through your day, and if they're not right for you, you can send them back. This holiday season, Brunt boot makes the perfect holiday gift for the hardworking person in your life.
This month, Brunt is dropping limited edition styles of boots and hoodies, so get yours before they sell out. Get $10 off your first purchase today by going to bruntworkwear.com/redpoppyranch10.
That's bruntworkwear.com/redpoppyranch10 and use the code redpoppyranch10.
The link is in the description. Thank you, Brunt. It's time to get the final few details with the off-grid chicken coop finished up, and then Cedar's chickens moved over here so they can get acclimated to their new coop. One of the final pieces that I need to fabricate right here for the off-grid chicken coop is a nice secure gate that the chickens and the predators can't get through. Because almost nothing about the off-grid chicken coop is completely square, I thought I would build the gate right here to the opening, knowing that it would work the way that I want it to work as I build it, versus building it on the sawhorses and hoping that it would fit. But again, the goal is to keep the chickens in and the predators out. And I'm going to build the gate the same way I built the deer pen gates. Both of our youngest kids, Callie and Reed, are actively playing basketball right now, and I have about an hour before I need to leave for Callie's basketball game in town. But I also need to get the last piece of the puzzle finished up so I can get the chickens moved over here to the new chicken coop. So I need to finish building this gate in a hurry, but I also need to build this gate in a way where it is skunk-proof or raccoon-proof or even fox-proof, as we've been seeing foxes in the neighborhood lately. If a raccoon wanted to get through this gate, the openings might be big enough, and for that reason I may line the back side of it with chicken wire. But it's time to go to Callie's game. Because of how wet and muddy the road has been for the last week or so, I felt like it wasn't smart to try and drag a trailer into town and get a few yards of sand loaded in the trailer and then drag it back up here. I simply chose to have the back of the bump side diesel filled up with as much sand as it could hold, which is ultimately about 2 yards, which probably weighs at least 2,000 pounds and maybe even a little bit more than that. And that's probably the limit that I want to put in the back of the bump side diesel. It feels like I've been working on the off-grid chicken coop forever, but I think it's only been a couple of months since I first set the posts to now getting to the final details and getting it finished up. And sometimes during that process I forget the details and I forget what I intended on doing in the beginning. So I have to carefully remind myself to take the time to finish it up and do it right, so I don't look back on this and have to make any changes. And now that we're getting down to the final details, I'm really happy with the end product, and I feel like this is going to last a very, very long time. The plan is to keep the turkeys out here in the chicken run, and I thought I would take one of the leftover posts that I had and try and make it into a natural roost, using some 1-inch dowels and some deck screws. Well, there's still a few little details I want to work out in here. Mainly I got to catch all the chickens and put them in here tonight. But I think I'm going to add a couple more roost poles to this post. And then I got to put the turkeys in here as well. It's cold. I can barely talk. But the coop is done. I'm going to put some rocks around the outside of this for a couple of reasons. So there's still a few little things that I need to finish up. But for the most part, this thing is done. And I'm excited to take the next step and get the chickens moved in here and try and figure out how many eggs we're actually getting right now. They lay a bunch of eggs up in the hay bales, and so I never know for sure how many eggs we're getting. But I'm excited to have a lot more control over what's going on, and I'm certain this is going to be better for the chickens. So. All right, so for a little bit over a month now, we've officially been on the new well, and I've shocked the system a couple of times. Probably put a total of maybe a cup of bleach in both tanks, and we flushed that down through the entire system. And the only thing left to do now is to change the water filters. And these are the filters that are left over from the shallow well. So what I now want to compare as we use the new well over the next 6 months to a year is the difference between the filter changes from this point forward. When the filters get changed on that shallow well, there's always quite a bit of sediment in this particular filter here because as the water level goes up and down in that shallow well, and as the weather changes, as the runoff happens, there's always sediment that comes up through it. And that should stop now. From this point on, using the new well, we really shouldn't have the sediment issues like we had in the past. And then the other issue that we had with the shallow well is the hardness. Again, because that water is surface level water and it doesn't spend a whole lot of time going down through the layers getting filtered. It was always pretty hard. And so we've already noticed a pretty big change with the new well between the hardness from the shallow well and how much softer the new well is. And we do not seem to have the sediment that we had before. So there's 3 filters I'm going to change here. There's the first sediment filter, then there's the carbon filter, and then there's the 10-inch Big Blue filter that I put on the hot side coming out of the... Willie wants to come and say hi. Come here, Willie. Come say hi. Get up. Okay. There you go. Willie has to stay high. Are you going to help change the filters? Are you going to help change the filters? You just need some attention. Is that what it is? We had the kids up last night and some friends come over last night, and we had two more dogs than we usually have around here. Our kids brought their dogs up, and Willie got in trouble a couple times last night. He was being a little bit protective, and he hasn't gotten used to Cheyenne and Christian's little Dalmatian puppy that Cheyenne and Christian got a while back. So anyway, he's extra lovey today because he needs to know that everything's good between me and him. But everything's good, huh, buddy? You know, I don't know who said it first, but there's an old quote about talking about having one good dog in a lifetime. And I clearly don't believe that as far as the dogs are concerned, because I think you get out of a dog what you put into a dog. And Willie is turning into a spectacular dog. He's going to be the dog that Callie and Reed probably remember the most. Well, that's what you want to do. You want to get up on my lap. Okay, let's go outside. Let's go. Come on. Let's go. Okay, so as far as the 3 filters are concerned that I'm going to change today, we're going to start with the sediment, then we're going to change the carbon, then we're going to change that 10-inch up there, and I'm going to show you what's inside the canisters every time I do this. From this point forward, we shouldn't have the sediment issues that we've had in the past with the shallow well. So I'm going to wipe the inside of the canisters out really well. Because I shocked the tanks from the top down, I don't need to treat the canisters with anything, but I do want to try and get them clean. So let me tell Cedar that I'm shutting the water off. Cedar! Water's going off. Okay, I got a ball valve right there to shut off. Now let's relieve the pressure inside the bathtub right here. Knowing what I know now, I think if I was going to do this all over again, I would have put a sheet of 3/4-inch marine grade plywood against the back wall, and I may have even put a catch pan underneath all these filters so I don't have to worry about the water when I change them. Okay, so the Big Blue 20-inch filter is, they're pretty heavy when the canisters are full, so I'm going to carefully carry this into the bathroom and pull the filter out and show you what it looks like. You can see the sediment coming out of there. Let's get this filter out of here. There you go. That's the dark brown soil that it's and it's catching the big sandy stuff that it should be catching. So I'm going to go spray this out real quick and then come right back. All right, now let's clean this canister out with some paper towels and we should be done. So this filter is right about 1 year old, and it really isn't that bad under the circumstances. There have been times when I pulled the filters out and the filters were completely black and the inside of the canister was very dirty. All right, that's good enough. All right, let's go get this reinstalled. Without touching the filter too much, there is no up or down. Okay, on both the top of the canister and the bottom of the canister, there is a guide that the filters sit down on. And if you don't get that sitting just right, when you go to spin this thing tight, it will not seat properly, and it could affect the pressure. It could affect your water coming in. It could also affect how well the water is being filtered. So you just kind of got to feel it as you're tightening it up, and then make sure that O-ring is sitting where it's supposed to be, and just kind of slowly. Okay, so I can feel that it just fell into the guides that it's supposed to hold that filter as it's being tightened. And one of the mistakes that I think people make with these Big Blue canisters is they over tighten them. It doesn't actually need to be a whole lot tighter than what you can get it with your hands. Something right in there. Yeah, that's it. I used to tighten the heck out of these things until I figured out that it was very difficult to get them undone. Let's do a little more right there. That's it. I'm going to leave both these filters and let them drain the water out of them as much as I can before I haul them off. And that's all right. That water was quite a bit cleaner, but we're still going to wipe it out. Okay, let's go get this one installed. Make sure that gasket's in place. All right, let's get this one. Again, making sure your O-rings are where they're supposed to be. That's it, right there. Come on, there we go. That is the sediment that filter's catching coming out of the hot side, coming out of the tankless water heater, that would go into the aerators and basically go throughout the house. So by having that filter there, it's preventing all that calcium and that buildup. I'm going to wipe this out real quick and we're going to reinstall it. Okay, that should be that. But there's one filter left that needs to be changed, and that's the filter on the fridge. So I'm going to go in there and change the carbon filter on that refrigerator real quick. Now that I know that we're good to go in here. Everything is pressurized. Let's go change the refrigerator filter real quick and be done with this. I shut the water off. We have no water coming out of the fridge. And it should take me like 2 seconds to do this. Set the old one down. Okay, now I'm going to turn the water back on and check for leaks. Now we're going to run, get all the air out of the there's the carbon coming through. Just kidding. That's your carbon coming out of your new filter. Almost no air. There you go. Crystal clear. A little bit of air in there still. The bottom line is I probably spent $50 or $60 changing these 4 filters today. With a couple of months of using these filters, it's only going to taste even better. The bottom line is I don't think you should take everything out of your water. I think the minerals, some of the minerals that are in your water, your body clearly needs. I prefer to just filter the water as best as you can with what you have to work with. One of the last things that I want to do is I'm going to send the new well water out for a test to see what minerals are in the water, see frankly, in general, what's in the water, and just make sure that I've got all the bases covered. But from this point on, we should be good to go as far as our water is concerned. And 1 year from now, I'm going to be very curious to see what those filters look like.